thought sex workers would deal with droids.
I find the underhand grip to be very, very effective.
Okay. If it was a shorter opponent, like maybe a child.
I think you're asking the wrong person if you want advice as to how to kill a child.
Who should I ask? Hi everybody, welcome to Millennial Falcon. I am Millennial Falcon, but my name is also Jenny. Here with me I have Michael from Belated Media and Amanda from MakingStarWars.net. Today we're going to be talking about careers in the Star Wars universe. Thanks for coming out, you guys.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to get into some news, but it's actually pre-recorded because this week we are at Star Wars Celebration. Did you guys know that? We're there right now.
What?
Yeah. But first we're going to get into some slightly older news that's been grating on me for a little while. So it is time to news the Force. So today we've heard some new news on the Han Solo movie. They promised that it's going to tell the story of how he found his name.
Who is this?
Which makes it sound like his name is not Han Solo at the beginning. I think what it actually means is that he makes a name for himself as a smuggler. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm definitely in the camp of we don't need to see any character be like, you shall be called. We don't need that sort of stuff. It's just a little campy.
I think you're absolutely right. It's just about his reputation. I mean, Han Solo is such a Star Wars name, you can't have it be anything else.
If you guys could name him something, what would you name him?
I mean, the naming conventions for Star Wars are always like Crandor, like Gutrin or something like before.
Well, they always have those really like literal names too, like Palpatine and Grievous. So maybe like Grouchy.
I was gonna just go
Solo.
George Clooney, and then they could say starring George Clooney, and it would be true. Moving on, it's time for Banter Fodder, our discussion topic for this episode. This time we're going to be talking about Star Wars careers in the Star Wars universe. Have you guys ever thought about that before? What kind of jobs you might find if you lived in Star Wars?
Dabbled through the mind a little bit.
Okay.
Definitely.
Well, I know there's a couple different like fields you can go into. So the obvious ones are Sith and Jedi, and I feel like those are the ones that get all of the attention all the time.
Right.
But there are a lot of other ways you could go with it, you know? You could be a military leader, like Tarkin or Hux. Like, would you be interested in something like that?
Oh, that's far too much responsibility on my end.
Okay.
I don't want to be responsible for the deaths of many on both sides.
I mean, you could still be responsible for the deaths of many. You
This
never
is
know
true.
what's gonna happen.
Well, I dig the like military thing, but you're right. Like, there's so much on the line there. And then when you look at Director Krennic in Rogue One, who like built the Death Star, and then at the end didn't get any of the credit for it. Like, that's a real thing in military jobs. So nah.
The careerist side of being in the military would definitely also have like some weight on whoever's within that world.
Yeah, and as opposed to real military, in Star Wars you get that added benefit of having a scary wizard looming over your shoulder. Just in the office. You know, you're sitting in your desk chair, you feel a presence, you're like, oh, it's the guy with the scary mask and the cape that he
Oh,
never
the one
takes
who
off.
can choke me
Yeah.
if he so chooses.
And he did yesterday. It was awkward.
I definitely think I would probably want to do something maybe where I didn't have so much responsibility, or I could put the responsibility on someone else. But in the Empire, I've always thought maybe I would be one of the TIE fighter pilots, so I could just sort of like blend in, like maybe just hide behind some of the other ones, and we just like take off if it gets too hot.
Okay.
You know, it's like
you don't think your superiors would like call you on that after you did it enough times?
I mean,
you get
maybe,
some
but-
nickname like Slipaway Jane or something. Old Slipaway Jane. She slips away.
Little slip away trickery.
And we all get killed. It's a playful nickname, but she
You know
has killed
what?
a lot of her comrades that way. So
Yeah.
she's a good pilot.
Yeah.
So like we see all the cool jobs in Star Wars, but I know there are also a lot of like sad, demeaning jobs, like Dexter Jetster. He owns that diner on Coruscant.
Yep.
Someone to see you, honey!
Obi-Wan!
Hello, Dex.
That always seemed fun to me.
Question for you in regarding the servers there. Do you think that's their part-time gig, and they're also like here in LA working like to be an aspiring writer?
I think 100% they are.
Because that's one thing we never really get a great glimpse of is what the art scene is like.
Yeah.
We get some musicians in like various cantinas. We have the singer at Jabba's palace, courtesy of the special edition. Some dancers.
That was the worst thing ever.
It's not
Yeah.
great. And then like that weird bubble opera. But outside of that, like we don't know what painting situation might be like.
We'd have other demeaning jobs, like you mentioned the singer in Jabba's palace. Obviously, we also have the dancers
Right.
slash sex workers? Do we know? Are they both?
Yeah.
Can you pick to do one? Like, I feel awkward dancing in front of people, but sex work is okay. Or I like to dance, but not cool with sex work. Is it like you have to be good at both?
I mean, I'm sure that if you're in a certain position, you can pick and choose a little bit. But I'm
Seniority
It's
based?
depending on your experience.
Yeah.
How
Right.
much leverage
Makes
you
sense.
have when you come into the job.
I'm wondering though, if you're like a lower level sex worker, what are the rules? Because are you gonna be discriminating across alien types?
Oh, boy.
Like, you know, like I don't deal with droids, like what's going on there?
What sex workers would deal with droids?
Droid sex workers.
C-3PO's not
I mean-
a frequent client at Jabba's palace.
Well, he's mostly doing linguistics, so
Do you think that the clientele get like punch cards when they return to Jabba's palace?
I don't think that's how general sex workers do it.
I wouldn't know, but I'm glad I brought on an expert on the panel.
Oh, no, not at all. But I think the idea, at least in your scenario of like punch cards, I went to like a Subway punch card system of like, oh, you do 12, and then the
that's
13th
free.
is like, yeah.
It's free. It's not one of the higher seniority
Oh,
sex
and maybe we
workers?
like roll away
Yeah.
one of those rules. So like the weird like, oh, you wanted to bring that tentacle monster from Rogue One in,
Yeah.
and we weren't down, but
Exactly.
like now.
We'll comp it next time.
Yeah.
And it's
Sure.
like, and what they don't tell you is the free punch card one, you're actually getting a new sex worker on their performance assessment. So
You're
their
getting-
supervisor's got a clipboard. They're like, I've got some feedback for them next
The
time.
people
That's the one where you get the lady with 6 boobs.
The
yeah,
people
but
in
you get it free, so.
HR for like just about any of these jobs, you're like, oh man, your job, you have to see
HR
a
at
lot.
Jabba's palace would be a mess.
Oh
I
my
don't think
gosh,
there is an
yeah.
HR at Jabba's
Wait,
palace.
why? They have to have one or the union's going to get on them about it.
Do you think they have unions, the dancers? I think they've
Yeah.
just been like abducted and now they're in
but
this
so
crime
that's
boss's
slavery.
ring.
Are these
It's
mutually
definitely
exclusive?
slavery.
Like if you're in sex slavery, you can't be unionized?
I don't think slaves are unionized. I think
Yeah.
those two things run a little counter to one
Maybe
another.
they do negotiate
Maybe.
like chain length though. You
Yeah,
know?
I mean-
maybe
Exactly.
Well, I think-
Just little
Union.
comfort things.
I think
Yeah.
the people who are like running the slave operations are
They're
probably
unionized.
they're unionized
Okay,
for
the
sure.
slave
Sure,
traders
yeah.
union.
Yeah, but this, I mean, we're dealing with different rights there, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I guess that makes sense. I mean, the sex workers could go full newsies. They're already musical. They can already sing and dance.
This
they
is
could
true.
make a union.
I kind of have wondered about Dr. Evazan and Walrus Man. Is Walrus Man his nurse?
Maybe.
I mean, the medical profession has
also,
to be.
like, which characters go to the vet versus the doctor?
Yeah,
Like, would Chewbacca be super offended if Han dropped him off at the vet?
that.
Yeah. I think it would probably maybe depend on the ailment. Like if we're just talking like a case of like really bad fleas, like yeah, the vet's probably going to be able to treat that better.
I guess that works. The medical profession could be a pretty good job to go into, except for the constant fear of your job being taken over by droids. Since today we're focused on Star Wars careers, I actually took the liberty of interviewing some of my friends and finding them their perfect Star Wars career. So let's cut away to that. Hi, are you ready to find your perfect Star Wars career today?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, they're recruiting right now. Jabba's Palace is actually looking for a dancer. Do you have a very flexible schedule?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Because you would be trapped there, you wouldn't be able to leave, and there'd be a hideous slug beast holding your collar.
I mean, my background's in marketing.
Okay, so you might be good for sex work.
Sorry, what?
Sex work. You haven't done sex work before?
No.
I misread this interaction. There's this planet called Jakku, but they're always looking for scavengers out there. You'd basically just be crawling through heaps of trash, pulling clothing components off corpses, stripping electrical parts.
Honestly, you had me up until the climbing through heaps of trash.
I think that was the first thing that I mentioned.
I'm still a little iffy on the sex work, if I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you.
What's the deal breaker for you?
The sex part of it? When I envisioned a future career for myself, it wasn't really in sex work. It was in, not sex work.
You know what they say about dreams?
That they, can come true sometimes.
They don't come true and you should compromise. I heard that you've worked with puppies before.
Yes.
Yeah?
I love animals.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of similar. Have you worked with a Rancor before?
I don't think so.
But I'm open to it.
They do eat puppies. That wouldn't be a problem, would it?
It's the circle of life.
Perfect. So actually, I have a little something right here. Would you mind just giving this a quick swing for me? There's more open air that way.
Yeah, don't want to break any furniture.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine. I think Stormtrooper could be a really good match. Are you good with Excel?
Yes, I
Okay.
can do Excel.
How about PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Okay. Slaughter?
Slaughter?
Yeah, like Youngling Slaughter, Rebel Slaughter.
Oh, one time I killed my whole Sims family.
We can maybe work with that. I'm actually gonna do an exercise with you right now, okay? So if you could just take this. Now what I want you to do with that blaster is just turn right around and just shoot the camera guy, just right in the face.
Wait, what?
Just pull the trigger. Excellent! One time it was actually loaded, and that was a disaster. So I think Stormtrooper could be a really good match.
Okay.
Okay, so is it a hard no on the sex work?
Yeah, because of the no pay.
Guess if you're gonna be picky, are you familiar with moisture at all?
I sweat a decent amount.
Okay, have you farmed it before?
No?
It's for a moisture farming position.
I don't know what that is.
I don't actually know what that is either. They're a little vague in the description.
Do you have anything else?
Well, I mean, if you're familiar with Kyber crystal focusing technology, the Death Star is hiring a technician right now.
Oh.
I'll put you down for sex work. It's time for our Jedi consultation. And now, as if by magic, it's Kim. What? Where did you come from? Wow.
The Force.
Oh, the Force. See, there's a
That's
reason
an
behind
actual
this.
place,
Yeah,
yes.
she is
Yeah.
tied closely to the Force because Kim has actually been a longtime cast member with the Walt Disney Company. And during her time there, she's trained a lot of different Jedi Padawan in the way of the Force.
Younglings, a visitor we have.
So how is that?
It's a very fulfilling way of life. I don't want to say job because Jedi is not exactly a profession as it is a calling.
Would you guys be willing to be Jedi?
I mean, it's appealing because Jedis are dope, but I don't necessarily know if I have the aptitude to take a life in defense, even then.
What if the only other option is that your life might be taken instead?
Yeah, see, when
Or all your limbs?
when my
maybe.
feet are to the fire on Mustafar, then yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Then maybe, okay.
How about you? Would you be a Jedi?
Oh, definitely.
Given the chance?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's...
That was easy.
You say that with far less reservation. You're like, oh yeah, let's do this.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
the rock star lifestyle of the Star Wars universe.
I feel like the Sith are the rock
Yeah,
stars.
then you're not a Jedi.
Because they're wearing like leather suits. They do what they want.
That is true.
Would you guys join the dark side?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would. Okay,
Yeah.
you're just straight up. You would join the Jedi. You would join the dark side.
I would do
It's
anything.
whoever asks you.
Whichever
first.
way
get a
the
lightsaber,
wind
you're
blows,
good. Yeah.
Amanda is there.
Whoever offers her a steady job first.
Yeah,
she's
cool
gonna snap it up.
outfits, travel.
Would
you know,
health
adventure.
insurance weigh into this one?
Here's the thing, I don't know about health insurance because did you see Darth Maul's teeth?
Yeah.
You know.
Maybe it's he wanted them that way. Maybe it's he had
Yeah.
a grill situation.
He wanted the grill. I'm also thinking maybe he couldn't find legitimate work because he had all those facial tattoos. Kim, why don't you walk us through a typical day in the life of a Jedi?
I wake up in the morning and before I do anything else, I need to get my focus. So I meditate. So,
sounds boring.
welcome to being a Jedi.
Oh, after you spend several boring hours meditating, what do you do after that?
Oh, breakfast.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you eat?
Lean bantha meat. Lots of greens.
Do you do anything super exciting like flying spaceships or?
I mean,
They all get lightsabers though, right?
correct.
That's
yes.
what I want to do is I want to swing around a lightsaber and cut things apart with it. If only we had, okay.
Oh, geez.
Thank you, Alphonse.
Thanks, Alphonse.
My brother Alphonse. He helps me out.
Yay. Thanks, bro.
Yeah. How do I most efficiently slice an arm off of somebody's body?
Oh, basically basic form.
Okay.
It's like this. Exactly like that. And it depends if, are you working in close quarters? Or is your
Usually.
opponent, okay, in close quarters,
Yeah.
actually, I find the underhand grip to be very, very
okay.
effective. So I wait until my opponent is close enough to me, and then I swipe overhead like that. I go for the shoulder joint.
Okay.
They are at a point where they can't exactly evade very easily because they don't have distance on their side.
What if it's somebody that's trying to run away?
Somebody trying to
Yeah.
run after
Can you
them.
just chuck it?
Okay.
The only disadvantage to that is what if you don't hit your mark?
Would you use the
Exactly.
same
Well,
kind
then
of
you just
grip
pull
if
it.
it was somebody that was like a shorter opponent, like maybe a child size?
I think you're asking the wrong person if you want advice as to how to kill a child.
Who should I ask?
Maybe one of the two members of the Sith,
My budget's not cut out for that. We can't really get Anakin in the studio.
He's too busy being Space Hitler right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's a busy job.
Yeah.
If I could actually try something a little different, what kind of fighting techniques would you recommend for this bad boy?
I would suggest getting some armor for your forearm there because
No, these protect my forearm. Ow, okay.
with a weapon that sophisticated, you know what, just go for it.
What form would
whatever.
you use for a lightsaber this fine?
You know what, is there a form that you would use for that? Is
I
there
was
a
thinking
kind of form?
gem so.
Maybe all of them?
Yeah.
That is very true. I like that answer. All of them.
Throwing all out there?
Just a little bit of. It's good.
I think if you just attached a rope to the end and swung
And
it
just
around
swung
a
it.
little
Like
bit.
a morning star?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody would expect it.
No.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna
Feature.
leave it here.
Yeah.
It's gonna cut into the wall a little bit. Now, if you guys, closing thoughts, if you were gonna be Jedi or Sith, which one would you choose?
I mean, Sith is inherently the cooler one.
Okay, so Sith. You're going Sith.
I'm gonna lean Sith.
You do have the lightsaber
Yeah,
already,
I
so.
think it was given to me almost by fate.
Yeah, or Alphonse. What about you?
Oh, I've been a Jedi for a long time.
You're not gonna switch?
No.
You're not a little tempted?
Not very.
You don't feel a little fear?
Not
I
very.
heard
Little
the
anger.
Hindus are less with the Sith.
But the dental plan is crap.
And how about you?
You know, I'm inclined to go Sith, but I do think I just look better in like the browns. And
Again,
just
you're
for the outfit.
sticking with
I have to
fashion.
respect the fashion
Yeah.
reasons here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would obviously be a Jedi. I'm kind-hearted. And
Based off of everything you've
just my innate
suggested.
goodness. So yeah, it's Jedi all the way for me. Well, I guess that wraps up our discussion topic for today. Is there anything you guys want to plug?
In addition to Belated Media, I have a podcast called The Sorting Hat where I and a friend are joined by a comedian or expert to sort various things into the houses of Hogwarts.
Kim?
Cool. You can find me on Twitter at Kim Cannon, and you can also catch me every Friday night on Hyper RPG's Star Wars RPG called Pencils and Parsecs, every Friday at 9 Pacific time.
And Amanda?
You guys can find me at MakeingStarWars.net, on my podcast Rebel Girl, which is on iTunes, or on Twitter at Real Amanda Ward.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. You can now leave.
Great.
Goodbye.
Mind if I take this? It's good.
Farewell. And now it's time for an airing of your general grievances. So one of the best things about posting Star Wars content on YouTube is you get a lot of wonderful fan interaction, lots of kind comments. So today I'm going to take the opportunity to respond to some of my commenters. So first up, we have Komninos Marasalidis, and he says, Star Wars suck. Babylon 5 is a lot more mature and logical and philosophically deep. And I think this is a really fascinating thing to bring up. I mean, maybe we could do a whole episode where we're talking about Babylon 5 instead of Star Wars on this Star Wars themed internet show. So thank you for your suggestion, Komninos. Thanks for writing in. Next up, we have Maliwulis, and he says, you are young and childishly naive and beautiful, and I think you with age become wiser to read many books and understand that the universe of Star Wars is absolutely useless and empty. I strongly recommend to read Frank Gerber Dune Brothers Strugatsky Picnic on the Sidelines. So, thank you, Maliwulis. I kind of lost the sense of what you were saying at the end, but I think it was mostly a compliment. So, thanks for chiming in. And for our last comment, bringing it in the home stretch, we have Charlotte Adams. Thanks for writing in, Charlotte. Charlotte says, I haven't watched it, so I don't even know. Thanks, Charlotte. Thanks for commenting. Great feedback. So, yeah, if my viewers could comment below, maybe I can respond to your wonderful comments next time. And thanks for tuning in. Next week, we're going to be talking about Star Wars Celebration. So this was Millennial Falcon. I am the Millennial Falcon, and have a good week. Bye, everybody. Thanks. Bye. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching. Click these boxes to watch more Screen Junkies news and click the logo to subscribe.